So, good evening. This is going to be a completely improvised session, and for those of you who are interested to play along, this is Low Hanging Fruits by Thang. You can find it on Soundcloud. To start by just coming to a standing forward fold. And let yourself find some rhythm, some weight hanging in the head. You can bend one leg and then the other, so opening up the hamstring. Breathe in and out through the mouth if it feels comfortable. Allow the chest to soften and the jaw to relax. And it's like we're kind of running while standing in place, while standing in a forward fold. And then stop the movement in the legs, just allow them to settle, but retain kind of movement in the upper body. And start focusing on the backs of the knees. So starting to shift the weight into the fingertips and then pressing back into the heels. Again, shifting forward, open the back of the knees, shift back. We're in a very, very narrow downward dog puppy position. Eyes can remain closed. And just shift the weight back and forth into the fingertips and into the backs of the knees specifically. So the backs of the legs generally, the backs of the knees specifically. And seeing if you can breathe into the lower back, rotate the legs just a little bit inward. So inward rotation of the thighs. Open the jaw, open the back of the knees. And then shifting into inhaling into the nose. I'm still on my fingertips, but maybe I want to come down a little bit lower onto the palms of the hands. Shift the weight even further forward. You can open up the wrists. Again, keeping the neck completely long and heavy. I have my eyes closed. You can open them if you want. Find a drizzy. If you are finding a drizzy point, you can also try to focus your gaze right up into the dantian area. So the lower part of the belly. Again, keep shifting back and forth onto the toes and onto the heels. Try to keep the legs long and the arms long. And we're really forming more of a counterbalance rather than using a lot of effort. Five. Explore the full range of motion. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend the knees. Allow yourself to float down and let the knees hover right above the thumbs. Still keeping the weight over the wrists. Fingers are spread. Just allow the weight to equalize. You can shift back onto the hips again, pressing into the outside of the hands. Open the front of the chest. Admire your amazing hairdo in the camera. And then turn the fingers to face each other. Allow the knees to open up wide. And we're finding a kind of symmetry here in between the elbows and the knees. Settling back slowly into a Baddha Konasana. that may or may not have worked out for you. It's the first time I've ever done that. But it felt kind of nice. Alright, so breathing now into the full spine. That means breathing into your asshole, breathing into your sacrum, breathing into the thoracic spine. Try to open up anything that might be constricted. Remember that in order to breathe out, you need to breathe in. Allowing the hips to continue settling open, bringing your breath into back between the shoulders. I'm walking the hands in closer to my feet, but still keeping the fingers pointed towards each other. And with each step closer to my feet, I bring them. I'm reaching the chest up just a little bit more. Breathing into the back of the neck now, the occiput, and also into the jaw. Breathe out. Breathe in. You may or may not find that as you open up different parts of your body, other corresponding areas of your body will open up. So if you open up your jaw, for example, you might find that your hips come to settle open even more. It's quite a wake-up call. Alright. Taking one last breath into the top of the brain here. Allow the hands to float up onto the knees. And try to settle back without creating any more tension. Okay. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose and settle down. And if, like me, you have neighbors downstairs, maybe you need to turn the music down. It's always good to be aware of your neighbors, because that means they will be aware of you. Alright, let's come back into a child's pose. Maybe a bit more of an extended child's pose to begin with. So keeping the butt over the knees, reach the fingers out. You can either come up onto the fingertips and allow the chest to melt down, opening the armpits. You can also come all the way down onto the palm and let your head settle down onto the forehead. We're going to hold this for a little bit longer now, more of a yin expression. So imagining right now like you are actually a statue made out of marble, or maybe you would prefer to be made out of jade. And just hold your position. Feel where the weight is hitting the floor under your body. And again, breathe into the areas the deepest where you feel a little bit of constriction. Breathing into the ribs, underneath the armpits. And tuck the toes. And then come up into a modified four limb, hands and knees. And spread the fingers so you really feel each fingertip and each ball, or like the base of the finger underneath, pressing into the ground. And bend the arms. It's quite interesting if you do have a necklace on. You can see if it's coming straight down. So we want it to stay coming straight down. These aren't really push-ups. They're sort of a modified version of something that could be a push-up. My knees are a little bit wider than my toes. And I'm trying to keep the back of the neck long and heavy. I actually have 2 necklaces on. The other one is quite a helpful Drizzy point. Giving yourself enough time on the inhale and the exhale to coordinate with the movement in a way that feels like you're getting the most out of each motion. Two more. Allow the sacrum to just settle on top of your body. Try not to have it tilted too much in one direction or the other. Really like you have a scale. Like the sacrum is the middle fulcrum of the scale. You want to let it just settle to keep each of the sides equal. Now again, finding some dynamic motion in the armpits and the shoulder socket. Allow the chest to melt down. Breathe into the heart. So as you come out, you might find you want to do any kinds of exhales. This is definitely a part of my practice. Might or might not feel good to you. Take the right arm and reach it underneath the left so you come down into a twist, coming onto the ground or onto a pillow on the right side of the body. Find a way that you feel comfortable. So where there's not too much pressure in an uncomfortable way on some part of your body. And where you can really allow the breath to reach into different parts of your thoracic spine, your back body. And if you have gone too far into the posture in a way that you feel is straining or painful, then take a step back and come to a place where you can actually settle into it. Take 2 more long breaths here. Breathing into the back of the body, and then breathe into the belly. Pressing into the left hand, lift the torso, plant the right hand, spread the fingers wide, and weave the left arm underneath the right, coming onto the left side of the face, and again settling, so finding what that looks like on this side that might not look the same way. One of the biggest myths in yoga is symmetry. Or maybe it's not a myth, maybe it's more of a paradox. Allowing yourself to come up out of this twist into a normal child's pose, so back onto the feet. Let the forehead settle onto the ground, the hands are in front of the head. Breathing deeply into your thought. So in a lot of these yin postures, we are often looking to find a perfect fit in ourselves or in the floor, also with gravity. And this is a really nice time to find a balance in between force and support. So with that in mind, let's come into a dolphin pose. So bring the elbows onto the ground, take a hold of the upper arms, and shift the palms forward. If you have some shoulder issues at this point, bring the hands together. And you can play around if you want to do palms down or palms up. I'm going to start with palms down. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. And again, find your marble statue. Find your strength and your stability. How about that love thing? You want to find some movement in your hips while you keep the upper body stable. It's quite fun. Okay. Slowly coming down. And sort of float the knees for a moment. And bring the knees to the outside and then back in together. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Child's pose. Gonna bring some props with us on the next adventure, which is going to be some Virasana. But first, let's try to open the feet up a little bit. So tuck the feet underneath the hips. Come back with the fingers pointing forward. And then again, shift the weight back so you start to open the tops of the feet. And then as the tops of your feet begin to open up, and I have the toes together right now, and again sort of found this perfect fit between the bottoms of my feet and the buttocks. And then start to let the knees sink forward. So now I'm opening up the front of the thigh and the quadricep while shifting my weight backwards. And right now the goal is to end up on my forearms behind me. I don't know the goal, but sort of the idea. But if I go too quickly, then I'm going to cause pain. But conveniently, I don't know about you, but this happens to me all the time in my practice. I expand into things around me, like walls and couches, and sometimes they really provide the exact right support that I need in that moment. Because it appears right now like my left quad is more open than my right. My left front of the leg is almost on the ground and the right one is a little bit higher. So it was easier for me to go down on the left forearm first. And now that I have had a little bit of time here, I can shift onto the right forearm. And actually this is like unbelievably delicious. I don't know how to instruct you to repeat it, and I can probably never repeat it myself, but this couch behind me is a really perfect occiput support. And actually, you could probably replicate it without too much difficulty if you set yourself up in front of the edge of the bed, or a mattress, something that's not exactly the height of a chair, but the height of a couch. And then you can really let it settle in. I'm not going to get up out of this and reposition myself because I've found when I get into these longer hold, yin opening fascial stretches that I can only do them once in a go. Like I can't get up and get into it directly and have it be the same experience because it's this opening that occurs throughout the whole body. And whereas I started feeling it maybe in the front of my quads, now I feel something opening up in my back body the longer that I stay here. I have my thumbs lightly pressing into the sides of my sacrum, just sort of providing support on the lower back. You might find that if you have a back injury and you're not used to doing back bends, you might want to have a pillow or a set of pillows underneath your back. And then just try to breathe into wherever you want breath. Right now the front of my belly is starting to feel more open. And I'm actually going to shift away from the couch because I'm sinking deeper, and now rather than being support, it's a little bit of a hindrance. So I'm going to need to see if I can find my way around it. Sort of succeeding. Kids, don't try this at home. Oh, it worked. Okay. So, now that I can greet you from underneath the couch, coming into this version of a Virasana as slowly as I did actually felt incredible, and I really feel stable and open right now. I don't feel any pressure in my knees. So you can try to bring the arms directly overhead. Discover exactly how many dust bunnies I have underneath my couch. And again, keep in mind right now that if your destination was not full Virasana, maybe you found a really delicious spot stacked up on some pillows or a bolster. Personally, I found that this pillow on the couch, the side one, has been a great bolster. So if you're at home and you don't have the ability to have specific props, really try to just work with what you have to find something that works. Alright, so now I gotta figure out how to get out of where I am. I'm going to try to enjoy this just a little bit more. So right now, by doing this, I can actually lift my hips up and get a little bit more opening in the back. But gotta come back up. Impresionante. Okay. Let's see where we want to go right now. Maybe have a sip of water. See what your whole body feels like after a couple of these stretches. I think right now I'm going to shift into the back body. Personally, I'm not feeling so energetic right now. So, we're not doing salutations today, or lunges, for that matter. Alright. So, always take advantage of a good transition. We're going to go here from seated onto our back. And keeping the feet grounded, bring the hands together in front of you and hold the core in tight. Bring the hands to face each other. Squeeze the elbows together, the knees together. You can even put something in between your legs if you want to squeeze together. And keeping the toes active, just roll down. If there's anywhere you want to stop and take a breath, feel free. Keeping the belly pulling in, all the way in, chin tucked in. And when the bottoms of your shoulder blades reach the ground, start to go back up. Take a deep breath in wherever you need support. Keep the chin tucked in, staring at your dantian. So again, the drishti point. Inhale and you come up. Bring the elbows all the way over the knees, let the head go forward. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 more. Now we're going to do it again. So keeping the chin tucked down, staring at the dantian. Elbows together, squeeze the knees together, palms together. Breathe in and breathe out. Try to go down as slowly as you can. Keep the chin tucked in on the tops, the bottoms of the shoulder blades. Actually, the tops this time. Keep the chin tucked in. Then start ascending. Keeping the gaze focused on the dantian. Belly pulling into the ribs. Elbows pulling forward, ribs going in. Keep the gaze on the dantian. Let the head relax forward. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Allowing the head to sink fully in between the shoulders. Jaw relaxed. And then another inhale, sit up. And do one more. Squeeze the hands together, elbows together, knees together. Chin tucks in, gazes to the dantian. Breathing in and out. Belly pulls in. You feel the side abdominals reaching down. When you get down to the shoulders, take a deep breath in, relax the pelvis. And you can either lie down, or if you want to do one more, then feel free. Try to keep the feet planted. Coming forward, head relaxes down, and then just rolling all the way back down. Belly keeps pulling in. And as you can see, I ended up pulling on my fingertips at this point. That happened kind of naturally, so seems reasonable. Okay, lie on your back. Hands out to the side in a T position, palms face the ceiling. We still have a roll in between our legs. Allow the shoulders to settle on the ground. Everything in the head to be heavy. Feel the brain being heavy, the eyeballs being heavy. The shoulders open up and the heart becomes heavy. It just sinks back into the earth. As you feel your whole body begin to settle on the ground, allow your tailbone to just tuck slightly forward. The back of the neck is long. Inhale, release the pelvis. We're going to squeeze the sit bones in. Start squeezing a roll and lifting the feet off the floor. Feet are active. Try to find where there's no pain. Now I have a injury from a couple months ago in my back, so it doesn't really feel like I should be doing lifts right now. But for you, I can imagine that squeezing the roll and lifting the feet up and down a couple times might feel nice. For me, I'm going to lift gently into a bridge, trying not to clench anything, not my buttocks, not my pelvis. I'm just lifting like my pelvis is going up an elevator. My legs are actually doing all the work. Allow the arms to come with the fingertips in the direction of the feet. Really opening the hips up to the sky. Now start to squeeze the sit bones and relax the pelvis. Allow the knees to reach forward, and if you end up releasing the roll, it's all good. Right now my focus is more on squeezing the really deep internal muscles of the butt and the thighs reaching forward. Allowing the feet to be fully grounded so you can feel them. The heel, the ball. And again, as I open my feet, somehow my jaw gets a release. It's kind of amazing how it's all connected. Allow the neck to be long. Take one more breath into back of heart, and then we're going to start to come down. Upper back, middle of the back, the tailbone is tucking up, pelvis is relaxed. Lower back coming down to the spine. Sacrum on the ground, and then bring the knees into the chest. Either keep them outside of your torso, more like a happy baby, or you can hug them directly in. And taking a few breaths into the pelvis, into the belly, and keep the mouth open. So keep the teeth apart, so leaving space in between the teeth. And coming into a full happy baby. Taking the peace fingers around the big toes. Again, leaving space in between your jaw, in between my back molars. And here I'm using my Ujjayi breath, so breathing in and out through the nose. And gently come into a Baddha Konasana over the face. So bring the feet together. Reaching the feet along, or the hands along the back side of the feet. And again, I'm going to try to come into this slowly. So I am allowing my jaw to stay very open, the back of my throat to relax, and keeping as much of my back grounded as possible. I'm going to shift my focus to my feet. And here I'm making the decision to come around the back side of my leg and take a hold of the ankle bone right in the center part of the palm. Find a perfect fit where you really have the middle finger around the bottom of the foot. My thumb is around the top of the foot. First finger is on the other part, the top of my foot. And the pinky is on my heel. So reaching around, taking second foot in more or less the same manner. This paradox of symmetry. And try to use the elbows to give yourself a little bit of traction in the hamstrings here. So again, keeping the jaw relaxed, trying to settle the shoulders onto the ground and reach the tailbone all the way down onto the mat. So the sacrum feels like it's flat on the mat. You can feel the backs of the legs, the buttocks opening. And I don't know how it's going to work out for you, but for me, my feet did not end up over my face. This feels better to me right now. So follow wherever you feel like if you feel like you get lost in a stretch, it's probably because it's doing something that your body really wants it to do. So I would say generally, trust that. So we're going to come over into this is Shalabhasana, plow pose, knees together. Oh, that actually was another one of these beautiful not set up setups. So I have a prop underneath my arms. It's actually keeping me from going all the way over, which is quite nice right now. Keeping the jaw relaxed still. Got a hold of my toes with my fingertips. And again, as I keep my jaw in the back of my throat relaxed, I can also really open up in the area of the occiput, the back of the neck. It's like opening up on one side allows me to equally open up on the other. Letting go of the fingers here and the toes so that the toes come all the way back. And here we are again, rolling the thighs in, opening the backs of the knees. So if you remember from the beginning, when we were shifting forward and back, this might not be a straight-legged posture for you, but I want you to just try to focus on finding the shapes in your body that are repeating. So right now I am opening up the same train of fascial energy in my body that I found in that other posture. And it's because it's the one that's most tight. So it's different on both my legs, but I'm able to access these different things simultaneously by essentially hugging this center line and using these different places of stable pressure, like with the floor, for example, or balancing my hips in a certain way. So using the bone structure to give the muscles and the fascia something that they can balance off of. So sinking the weight of the legs closer to the chest. I'm not really in a full plow pose anymore. I'm more in an inverted forward bend. At least that's how it feels. So allowing my toes now to untuck. And close the eyes for a moment if they aren't already. Again, keep in mind if you're doing this with props, which will most definitely be easier if you have tighter hamstrings, and probably a good idea. Just make sure you have those rather than putting yourself into a longer held posture like this in a way that you're actually causing pain. At this point, I'm really just allowing the weight of my body to settle. So even with the knees on my forehead now, can give a very interesting pressure point massage. Allow the hands to float over the backs of the feet. And again, speaking of pressure points, if you want to find some things on your feet, we really are doing a inverted forward fold here. And I found interestingly with foot massage that my feet seem to respond to a lighter touch better than deeper, or at least equally so. and that I really can interact with the nervous system in my body with very light touch actually on my feet. And if I try to do too deep a touch, then sometimes the particular areas don't even respond. So right now, keeping the chin tucking into the chest because there's really nowhere else for it to go in between the collarbones. Just have to do a little shout out here to Miss Kelly Saffron Daffron. Thinking of you, girl. I hope that we get to do some yoga together with a cantaloupe in the future. Gotta love a good cantaloupe run. Good ones are really good and bad ones are really bad. So continuing to let the hips roll down towards the ground. I have a feeling we're going to come directly into a Shavasana, slowly but surely. So keep those eyes closed if they are already, and close them if they aren't. And by the way, if you're looking for a good cantaloupe run, all you gotta do is rub the bottom of it. And if it smells sweet, it's usually going to be. Hands come together over the head. And now I am deciding to come into Shavasana through straddle. This may or may not feel reasonable for you. I'm just gliding my toenails along the wall. And the more that I keep my ribs hugged into my chest, the more open that the backs of my legs feel. Which is a call out also to Miss Danny Yoga with Danielle, who I've been learning some beautiful yin techniques from. She's in Australia. Badass Kundalini forest yoga teacher. So keeping the legs holding in like a ballerina. Fingertips together, feet are lightly active. Again, this will be very different depending on your flexibility. It is often more difficult to move slower than it is to move quickly. Okay, allow the sacrum to settle on the ground. Flex the feet. Let the arms settle all the way on the ground. Arms are overhead. I'm going to suggest that we do actually a Kundalini version of Shavasana, which is involving the arms above the head rather than down by the sides. So I'm actually just holding my legs in a straddle. It's a little bit like doing straddle against the wall, just without the wall. But again, with these fascial opening stretches, I find that sometimes I discover a posture, and even if this might be more ideal with something like the wall, or at least different, if not more ideal, if I move myself over to a wall right now, I'm going to lose the entire process of relaxation I've already done with the top of my body, which is now settled on the ground. So I'm going to just keep on exploring my way down onto my back, allowing the buttocks to settle, the piriformis back there. And it feels to me most reasonable with my knees still kind of floating up in the air to start bending my legs and bringing feet together. Let's see. I'm getting a really nice opening in the front of the hips right now. The adductors. And again, here I can feel myself trying to go a little faster, so I'm going to try to keep slow. Again, try with the hands also, to keep the hands open. Knees are heavy. Continuing to breathe into where you feel it. So follow what your body wants to do right now. If you feel like coming into Baddha Konasana or your Shavasana is comfortable for you and feels good, then I would suggest that. You can also come all the way down onto full Shavasana. You can bring the arms down by the side if that feels good to you also. Really allowing the Shavasana to be the place that you do everything that feels good for you. Right now, for me, I'm feeling this Baddha Konasana differently on both my hips. I feel like my left hip is opening up first, and the right hip is kind of just waiting its turn. But as we lie here and settle into our Shavasana, I'm going to share with you one of the Kasina meditations. And this is, the Kasinas, there are a number of different Kasinas in the Buddhist Theravada lineage. And the Kasinas are focused on using as your meditation object one of the elements or colors. So elements would be earth, water, wind, fire. And the colors in Buddhism, you generally have just 4 colors. You have white, red, yellow, and then blue, black, and brown are all one. So now I'm going to guide you through a red kasina because we did and are doing quite some hip opening and beautiful Victoria in Greece, forest yoga goddess taught a beautiful class this past weekend where she focused a lot on connecting the first and the 6th chakra. So that is what we're doing now also. If you want to bring your hands over your forehead and lightly let the fingers interlace and palms face upward. Elbows are on the ground. Continue to let the hips sink down, whether you're in Baddha Konasana or the legs are open. And we are inhaling into the pelvis and allowing it to release. Fully feeling ourselves. Feeling the weight of our body against the floor. As our body sinks into the ground, feel the front body begin to open. And as your body settles, then allowing your mind to come to your meditation object, which for this Shavasana we are choosing the red kasina, our root chakra. I want you to picture yourself inside your pelvis. Inside tissue, inside the warmth, this red or pink flesh, soft, and a viscosity there. And think about the blood in your body. This rich red blood, the color of rubies. And as you let yourself sink into this surrounding atmosphere of red energy. Maybe you can discern for yourself what this area, what this place means to you. Is red something that feels comfortable for you and, exhilarating, or perhaps something that feels threatening, exciting? Just taking a temperature of what this energy is in your life. If your eyes happen to be open and you're watching the video, you'll see that I have released my hands onto either side of my head, and I'm now beginning to guide my head into just a little bit of cranial release. It's a really subtle feeling. I'm not actually really moving myself so much as just following where my body wants to go. And you'll usually find that you're on the right path if through these movements you find yourself beginning to breathe more deeply in one way or another. Most or many heads like to move around in a little bit of a figure eight. So if you aren't finding a flow, that might be a nice place to start. And you might also find that you like to keep your head on one side or the other. And this is also fine to do for some time. Although if you feel like you're kind of stuck, almost like a record skipping, then you do want to incite some movement. Again, you're letting the hips settle down, the roots settle, and continue to picture yourself as this little being inside your pelvis, in this warmth of the red and pink tissue, moist. To me, it feels very safe. It gets very womb-like. I hope you can hear the music. It's saying, but only love can break your heart. And actually, this is quite fitting that we're listening to Love Thing or Love Thang with an A, and the low hanging fruits as we're working on the root chakra. If you have been in Baddha Konasana, you have not yet transitioned into normal Shavasana, then bring knees together. And you can either settle back down into Shavasana or you can come to seated. I am choosing to come to seated. I'm going to gently roll forward while lifting my head up. So I fully take all the weight of my head in my hand. And just feel it. Allow the neck to be long. Allow the knees to settle over the belly. And if you are in normal Shavasana and you want to join us, bring the knees into the chest. It's like we're doing just a little baby crunch sit up here. Let's do like maybe 4 more of them. Open gently, releasing all the air from your body. And take a deep breath in, squeeze the elbows towards the knees. Again, you can open the eyes if it feels good, looking to your dantian. The dantian in Chinese medicine is where we take in energy from the universe. It's the second chakra. I happen to have a tattoo of platonic solid of water on my dantian. So it makes quite easy for Jitsu. Okay. So coming all the way up. In a way that doesn't create more tension. And if you have opened your eyes, just close them for a moment and come into your seat. We're going to do just a couple minutes of seated meditation. So allow the hips to settle on the ground. If you want to set something underneath your hips, you're welcome to do that. And with the eyes closed, come back to this color and this sense of red, the warmth, the atmosphere of this red world. The color of clay, of brick. There's a lot of fire in red, but also earth. You can think of red foods, red juice, red shoes. A funny old friend said one time that a woman can wear, or a man, that a person can wear red hat, red shoes, and a red purse. And any one of these can be a good thing. But if they have two, like red hat, red shoes, you know it's trouble. And if they have all three, then game over. Namaste. Aho. Hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. Thank you for joining me. Wow, we're under